Hello, my intrepid sleuths. Welcome back for yet another exciting investigation, codenamed the Genesis Conspiracy. In the upcoming videos, I will uncover how this well-documented, high-level satanic mesmerism was conjured up in order to hide the truth about God's true creation. I will, with God's help, reveal Satan's sleight-of-hand wizardry he has cast in the organized effort to thwart God and his plan of salvation within every arena of life, including false religions. Philo, it appears that our enemy is going to tell the people about our secret mission. Let's see what she has to say. Remember the lesson the Berean girl taught us in her commentary of John 8, that what Jesus says matters. He says what he means, and he means what he says. For example, if he said the sun and moon give off their own light, and that they move across the sky, then that is exactly what he meant. Only those who are willing to accept the truth will wake up and see that this strong delusion is not cast by mere manipulated empirical science. It is in reality a religious devotion to Satan via the pagan sun god, Horus in Egypt, and Helios or Apollo in Greece. The Greek sun cult named their religion heliocentrism after their titan god Helios, who was, over time, replaced with the more cultured Apollo. If the false religion of heliocentrism were removed from the face of God's flat earth, then every satanic scourge would in turn disappear and no longer plague society with its ills of greed, poverty, endless wars, pestilence, famine, lab-created diseases, and their harmful so-called cures known to us as vaccines. Of course, the removal of the false religion of heliocentrism and all of its ills will only happen in finality, when Christ Jesus returns in the clouds with all of his glory and brings his never-ending kingdom to his flat earth. Unfortunately, as it is now, fallen mankind is enamored with the enchanting pagan myths more than the plain and simple truth of Jesus Christ. That is why the principle of contempt before examination is critical to heliocentrism and every lie of Satan, as it prevents the truth from being heard, considered, and accepted. It is the satanically appointed high priests of so-called science that are tasked with indoctrinating our children from preschool to college graduation into adopting the programmed response of contempt before examination, and to get them to accept their false religion of the globe earth and heliocentrism without any resistance. Why? Because decent society rests upon the bedrock of the family and the knowledge of God Almighty, the real creator of heaven and earth. Destroy the family with satanic lies, then you are able to destroy a decent godly society. Tell people that God and Satan don't exist, then mankind is only left with soul-destroying self-worship. Well, that is positively diabolical. It is. We will start our investigation at the beginning of time, creation, and we are going to use Scripture as our main source for the revelation of Christ, or the absolute truth. Are you ready?
Yes.
Then let's get to it. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness covered the face of the deep. Just wait a doggone minute. If the heliocentric model were true, then I'd expect God to have started with outer space and then moved to the creation of the stars, sun, and moon, and then the earth. If heliocentrism is true, then it makes God a fool. I don't think so, honey. Yeah, and another thing. Why is water already present in God's creation? He never said, "Let there be water," but there it is. And if there's no such thing as outer space, then gravity would not be needed, right? All very good observations and questions, ladies. Please keep them in mind as we continue our investigation into the Genesis conspiracy, as they will be answered as we go along. And the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the waters. Then God said,
"Let there be light."
And there was light. Girl, excuse me again. God said darkness covered a void and formless earth, but the Bible also says that God is light. So why did he have to say, "Let there be light," when he was already there? Yeah, and when is he going to get to the creation of outer space? How come the earth was already there before the sun, moon, and stars? All right. I'll answer some of your questions, but as we move forward, please hold your questions, as I am sure they will be answered. Now, in my investigation, I have found that light is a much shorter way of saying the electromagnetic spectrum. I'll say this spectrum of light houses the longest wavelength of radio waves up to the shortest wavelength of gamma radiation. All light is a form of radiation that shines down upon the face of the earth from the heavens directly above. The middle of this spectrum of light is called visible light, the range in which our eyes can see. So, the rest of this light spectrum is invisible to our naked eye and could be considered to be darkness? Yes, Wanda, that is correct. Why is all of this so important to Flat Earth? Who even cares?
We care!
Ladies, in order to get to the truth, we need to remember to put the programmed response of criticism before investigation in check by putting ourselves into a third-person investigative mode. That goes especially for you, Mona. Fine. Good. Now, this is important because a long-standing argument against creation from evolutionists is that God was stupid for creating light before the sun, moon, and stars on the fourth day. Well, I agree with the atheists. It is stupid to make light before you create the sun and stars, the sources of light. This is what makes it so easy to reject biblical creation. It's a poorly concocted myth. Really? Why do you assume that the source of light is the sun and stars? Seems to me that you are the perpetual victim of contempt before investigation, Mona. Are you familiar with construction? What? Yeah, well, sort of. My dad was a contractor. I used to help him sometimes. What does that have to do with flat Earth or light? Everything, Mona. It has everything to do with it. God is a builder, a carpenter. Therefore, in geocentric cosmology, we should think of the heavens and the earth as a house of sorts with a large garden that he built. Oh, like a terrarium. Ew, yeah. Has anyone heard of the world's oldest terrarium? Why, yes, I have. Exactly, ladies. As I was saying, In construction, a foundation is laid, then walls are erected out of beams, a roof is framed, and then plumbing and electricity go in. My point is that there is a logical progression to the building of a house. I see. So you're saying that the electromagnetic spectrum is the foundational wiring for the Earth's lights. It had to go in first. Yes, of course, the logic follows. It would be very foolish to try to screw in a light bulb without a source of electricity being in place. Well, it appears that God is pretty smart after all. Wouldn't you agree, Mona? Okay, fine. That does make sense, but that alone still doesn't prove the Earth is flat. I agree, Mona. So let's continue our investigation using the creation text. God saw that the light was good, and he divided the light from the darkness. Again, how can you have a day and night without the sun and stars? If you'd stop interrupting me, I could tell you. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning were the first day. Hey, Earl, this reminds me of a video that we recently saw about how the, electromagnetic spectrum makes its own light. Remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Shut the front door, girl. You know you gotta share the name of that channel and the video. Give me a minute and let me think. Oh yeah, the channel is Dan Dimension and the video is called, Sunlight versus Daylight. Yeah, that's it. I believe I saw that video quite a while ago. If memory serves, Dan postulated that the noble gases in the atmosphere ionize each other, creating an electromagnetic field, thus creating light. You ladies are on point, as usual. I too have watched many of Dan's illuminating videos as part of my investigation. Who asked why water was already present in creation? I did. Well, Trixie, here is your answer according to Dan Dimension's excellent video on the subject. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. What is the most important element for life to exist on Earth? Water, duh. So what? Honey child, you are getting on my last nerve. Now hush up and listen like a good little girl. Or as mediator, I'm going to put you in time out. Got it? Fine. Please tell us why water was already present at creation, Vianne. Quite simply, light comes from water. Say what? Diane, do you have any thoughts on this matter in regards to matter? Well, I have read that when you ionize water at low pressure, let's say in the troposphere or higher, you would get white light. If we care to notice the sunset or sunrise, certain colors are found in the sky always in a particular order: blue, white, and then red. Like the reverse of the American flag. Woohoo! Ain't that right, Earl?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, well, also worthy of note, water is the only substance on or above the Earth that exists in all four states of matter: liquid, solid, gas, and plasma. Yes, these facts perfectly coincide with my investigative research. Isn't that gross? I mean, isn't plasma part of blood? Does that mean blood is in the sky? No, Brenda. Even though plasma is part of blood, plasma is a name used for a state of matter that happens when electricity, like static, is applied to a gas. Like the noble gas, neon. It ionizes it and lights it up. Oh, like those pretty neon lights? Precisely, Brenda. Wow, that's so cool, isn't it? The sky is one big neon light. Ugh, what a bunch of malarkey. Does your God flip the big switch in the sky? All right, you've gone and done it, Mona. You are officially on time out. Wait, you can't. Brenda, baby, don't listen to that meanie. It is cool how God made the heavens like a big neon light. But it seems to me that God's light switch is the sun, which governs the day. Oops, I guess I'm getting ahead of you. No, that's okay. You are correct, Anita. So, if the atmosphere works like a neon light, as Brenda cleverly asserted, and the sun is the switch that governs its light, as Anita pointed out, then wouldn't the sky need to be contained in a pressurized glass tube of sorts? Yes, it would. Now in the next video, we will investigate the firmament. What is it, and why is it relevant to the biblical model of flat Earth? Aw, girl, just when this was getting good. We'll just have to wait for the next video. Just as I thought. That detective dude is totally going to tell them the truth about us. But it doesn't matter. The delusional spell we have cast over all humanity is very strong. Coupled with the programmed response of contempt for the idea of a flat Earth, we are relatively safe from detection. Remember, Philo, it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they have been fooled. Water, duh. Honey child, you are getting on my last nerve. Now hush up and listen like a good little girl. Or as mediator, I'm going to put you in time out. Got it?